Loktargar friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Orc Mode workout, and today is Max Effort Squat Day. Today I'm doing a box squat, which I told you guys I would do. Off to a pretty good start on the box squat. Got a pretty heavy single today. First time doing a single on box squats in years, and since it started off pretty good, I think that's a good sign. That means my leg strength is coming back. My legs are definitely growing. That's one thing I've noted, that even in spite of what I'm doing with my diet, my legs are growing. They're not just bigger, like in appearance they feel bigger. Like I can tell the difference in the way pants and stuff fit. So my legs are coming back in spite of not bulking, in spite of being in a deep keto diet. So that's a good thing. That means I'll PR my back squat next week. All right. I'm not necessarily hitting a PR on the same lifts every week. So in some ways, this is similar to the conjugate method, but not really. But that is an example of something I'm doing different. I'm not necessarily PRing the same lifts every single week. There is some rotating through lifts on max effort. Now, what I will say today, the box squat went good, but the deadlift sucked. And I guess it's just overall fatigue. Also, my form was way off on the conventional deadlift. I need to go back and address that again. Now that I'm doing it again regularly, I've got to get the form back down, because I feel like it was a combination of both fatigue, maybe the box squats took more out of me than I thought, combined with, again, less than stellar form. But we'll get to that when we get to the deadlift. So I was going to do this. My goal was just to hit 405 on a box squat today, right? But it is a max effort day. The 405 felt really light. It just shot right up, right? That was not a max. So I thought, let me go ahead and throw another 10 pounds on, the rest 3-4 minutes, throw another 10 pounds on, and go a little heavier. So we did 415 off of a box, and this is a parallel box. Not to be confused with people who are boxing on the top of a bench. You should be able to add 50 to 80, maybe even 100 pounds by getting up on that bench, because that's not the parallel. That's basically a half squat. So squatting to parallel on a box squat, 415 today, that's a good start. That establishes a baseline. And you know, when I was talking about the baseline for the maxes, I had someone actually who's a longtime follower make an absurd comment. They don't understand what I mean by baseline. I'm not building a baseline, we're establishing a baseline. That means we're figuring out where our current training maxes are so that we can progress off that. We need to be able to set percentages. We need to have a baseline that we build off of, right? Because we're gaining strength. Even though I'm not bulking, even though I'm working on getting leaner, gaining strength. Now, the deadlifting today, you guys will notice I'm basically setting my hips too low. I'm almost squatting the weight up. And I did it on my 485. I was going to do a 485 and then go up from there, right? That was the plan. This was so grindy and slow, and it felt like a true max that I realized, okay, I just can't deadlift today. We'll address this conventional next week. When we come in, we'll clean that form up, turn it into a hip hinge instead of a squat, because this wasn't a hip hinge. I got my hook grip set. Now the upside, the hook grip held. On a slow, grindy rep, you would expect the hook grip to be giving out, right? But look at that. No slip in the grip at all. But it was grindy. It was grindy. It was slow. I started with my hips way too low. Probably all around fatigue. The box squats took more out of me than I thought. And I'll have to just live with it. I was happy with going 10 pounds heavier than I planned today for the box squat. And then I get to that deadlift, and I was actually going to go up 20 pounds, right? I was going to bump 20 pounds on the next single, and that one was heavy. So I realized I'm done. I can't deadlift today. So what are we doing? Back off work with the back squat. Why? Everyone's normally like, don't you do safety bar squats here normally? Yes, I do. But I did a box squat on the max, and we need to get some training every week on our conventional lifts. This is what people need to understand when you're going to do any sort of rotating exercises on concurrent training. You don't get to skip your primary lifts. In fact, that would be a real bad idea. Just like tomorrow, I'm probably going to hit a max on the floor press, right? We're going to hit a max on the floor press. Does that mean we don't do the normal bench? No, it means we do it as back off work. We do it as assistance work for the day, because we need to keep these movement patterns down. You know, just like I'm going to work sumo more than I'm going to work conventional, but I needed conventional. And in fact, when we saw that shitty technique today, it's very clear that I need to make sure I work on technique on conventional. So we need to do the primary lifts. Even if we're doing close variations for some of our main work, we have to maintain the other lifts. So yeah, I did a 3x3 on these, right? We did a 3x3 on the back squat. And on the last set, I went up just a little bit because I realized that 365 was a little light, so I threw another 10 on. And this honestly wasn't heavy either. So again, just keeping some technique in there with some moderately heavy work for the back off work. Do it as assistance work. And of course, what I'm going to do next, everyone's like, oh man, you're gone total bro on us. This is supposed to be your heavy squat and deadlift day, and what do? You turn it into a bicep and ab workout. Yeah, I totally did. Totally did. And, so I did 4 sets of curls, and then I did some standing cable crunches. Now, that's kind of the funny thing, is that I am doing curls on my squat days. So does that make it full body still? I mean, I'm doing cheat curls on my, what do we want to call it, a leg day? I mean, if I deadlift on all of my leg days, it's not really lower body, is it? On my squat days. And then if I do cheat curls, we're working back in biceps on leg day. So it's not a leg day. This is just movement pattern split, guys. It's a good way to organize it. In fact, it usually works better if you deadlift on the same days you squat. Why? Because you're always going to have to squat heavy in comp first if you're going to power lift. So it makes sense to do so, right? Those muscles are going to be fatigued. Now, what I ran into today, though, I did the box squat first and then went to the deadlift immediately. You're going to have a couple hours between at a powerlifting meet. But that fatigue really affected me today. It really affected me today a lot. And, we have to live with that. We've got to learn to train back through that again. You have to. Because you're never going to deadlift in comp fresh unless you're doing a deadlift only. So it is what it is. But yeah, we're going to curl every day on my squat days now. That's what I'm doing. I do cheat curls. Just like on my bench day, we do a lot of standing exercises, don't we? Do the overhead press, we do rows, right? Because it's not an upper-lower split. It's loosely based on upper-lower. We don't have to think of it that way. And there's no reason you can't do this because this is the stuff that I need to work on. And my upper body is fresh, right? I don't have to deal with any residual fatigue. My biceps need work. So why not come in and train biceps after I squat? Squat doesn't affect my biceps. Good place to work them in. And then that way they get more frequency through the week because I can hit them on my squat days and then they get worked with a big, nice, heavy compound movement on my assistance work for my bench press. It works great. So in all honesty, really in a lot of ways, my training is more upper body oriented. And that's fine because I'm getting tons of leg volume. Squatting and deadlifting twice a week. Plenty of lower body volume, we're fine. But to be orky, I do need more biceps. I need more delts. Those things need a lot of work. And they're getting a lot of work. But yeah, so 4 sets of cheat curls today. And I've done videos on the cheat curls. If people don't understand why I'm doing these or the way I'm doing them, you need to go back and see the videos I've done. I've discussed it quite a bit. But they're getting veiny. Yeah, I noticed my quads look really, really bloaty today, and that's okay. Because I did a lot of cardio this weekend. And yeah, it's fine. That water will drop back off in a few days and then they'll look leaner again. I'm not worried about it. I'm not a bodybuilder. My workload is so high, my water weight is going to shift around a lot these days. Especially running no carbs, doing conditioning work every day on top of all the training. Body's going to do weird stuff sometimes. But yeah, the arms were nice and veiny there. And then we're doing the standing crunches. I had someone kind of make the comment that, oh, your standing crunches aren't really working your abs or whatever bullshit that they say. You look what I'm doing. Of course my abs are being worked. Your abs are being worked even if you don't move at all. If you just stood there stationary pulling against it, your abs are a stabilizer. They're a primary mover there. And yes, I do intend for there to be some hip involvement. This is being done as an accessory movement to help with my squats and my deadlifts. So why wouldn't I have some hip involvement? Of course I do. And we're doing it standing for a reason. Notice that I take the same stance that I do on the back squat, right? My normal high bar squat looks exactly like that, doesn't it? Notice I even turn the knees out slightly. Exactly. I'm trying to replicate kind of what we're doing on a squat. Again, I want a stronger core on my big exercises. That's the reason we're doing these. I'm not doing these to get better abs. Your abs, this is not what gives you abs. Your body fat gives you abs. And hell, my abs are big and blocky anyways, just from all the compound movements. Again, it's about stability on your squat. what's going on there. And then we'll watch that nice clean box squat one more time before we go. And I think it's fair to say we're going to go ahead and PR on the back squat come Monday because this box squat went up really fast. So leg strength is coming along. I feel like I'm good for a PR on max effort squat, normal back squat come Monday. So be ready for it. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.